Keep it real and be yourself. Let's get into this video. And for today's video, we're going to be talking about becoming a leader for your own life. And I'm going to be using three-way metaphor from a man named Frederick Nietzsche, who is a German philosopher. If you don't know him, don't worry. I'm giving you information so then it will help you and you can apply it to your life. Let's get into it. For the three, it's a camel, a lion, and a child. The camel is the stage when you're a very hard worker. You put it in the reps, you're dedicated, you're sacrificing, you're consistent, you're doing all the things you needed to do to make the life that you want to live. But the trick is you're doing this based off of other people's values and society values. These values aren't necessarily your own. You're being obedient to values outside of yourself and you're internalizing them. For example, if a coach that you have, if they say, yo, this is the way that we are going to win, that is their values. And when they pretty much give the illustration of this is the only way to win, and then give you other things like this is what hard work looks like, and you internalize this value like, oh, that's what hard work looks like. Oh, this is what you need to do to win. And you start putting in like the hours and suffering, discipline, hard work. You start doing the things that is needed to do to get that fulfillment from your life using those values of someone else or wherever you learn them from. You get stronger. Don't get me wrong. If you actually are a hard worker, you get stronger, but you're not free. You're carrying what others have told you. But the good thing about this is the lion. When you get to the middle part of that, it's like the transition comes from you questioning. And you question because there can be multiple reasons why you question. But one reason can be you don't get the results you expected to get, or you burn out from following their values. And one of those, like, it could be multiple things, but overall you come to the conclusion that following these values will not get you the life you want, and that makes you into a lion. When you're a lion, you say no to burdens, rules, and authority, and you start to create independence and self-mastery. You're strong enough to say no, but you cannot create new rules. You see your coach and you're like, no, I do not want to do this. I know this will not bring me the path that I need to go through in order to accomplish and get to where I want to in my life personally. And this can also be no to family expectations, religion, education, and maybe even your own belief system, your own values, your own values. And that leads to the next step, which is the child. Now, the transition from lion to child comes from you starting to pretty much create a stillness. With the lion, you're like I said before, you're rebelling, right? You're very aggressive. You're saying no, you're making these realizations, and you're confused as well. Why are you confused? You're confused because you have lived by these values. You thought that these values was going to bring you the life you wanted. And now since you've realized that they aren't and you're pushing them away, what values do you have? You have no values. You're confused. You don't know you don't know what's the right route. You're in the middle. You don't want to go back to your old path because you realize it's not you. It's not going to work for you, but there's still a path that you need to go to get to where you want to go to. So that creates a child because the child can obviously create, right? And when you get to the child, you pretty much you accept everything. You are able to filter what you want to take on, and this comes from a level of authenticity. But authenticity in yourself, knowing yourself on a very deep level, not surface level, knowing yourself inner, right? Not external, but inner. And when you know yourself on an inner level and you understand yourself, you are now able to know what is the best route for you and have the meaning. Your life, you start to live a more meaningful life, but for you, right? A meaningful life that you describe as meaningful, not what the other man describes as meaningful because of his situations and his values. What you describe as meaningful through the values that you've developed, right? You can see your coach and be like, yo, I see this is why you think this, but I know that I am not going to succeed through these means, so I am going to do this in order to get the same result. And if you go through that path, you will able to satisfy those people because you are able to win. But you're not going for the win, right? It's not external. You're not trying to do this to win. You're doing this for yourself, right? Like, the coach can be like, I need to do this. I need to follow these values because I want to win. I'm going to portray these values because I want to win. But when you make it about yourself and who you are as a person, you get better, and your betterness, I know it's a bad word, but your betterness will then create improvements. If you do something that you want to do and it will bring you improvements, you will be able to do it with a higher percent, right? You'll be able to do 100%, 110%, rather than following somebody else and leading to burnout and things of that nature, which you can do 100%, but over how long of a period of time? You're not going to be passionate in it anymore because you're following someone else's beliefs, someone else's system that brings their idea of success, which is not your idea of success, right? So this child can say yes to life, say yes to self-expression, and can create, right? He is truly free. It's when true freedom begins. He does not react. He does not rebel. He creates his values to make the perfect life for himself. And I'm going to give an example before I end the video. This is a personal example. So if you don't want to hear, click out the video. I said everything I need to say. But if you do want to hear, pretty much from me personally, I realized this once I was trying to get game. trying to learn more about how I need to be a certain type of person to, get the women that I want in my life, let them stay, you feel me? And I realized for myself that the way that I thought to get it was based off of other people's experience and them telling me this is how you do it, A, B, and C. That's how you do it. That's how you have game. That's how you have riz. That's how you have aura, all this thing. And if they had results from it and we thought similarly, boom, I became obedient and then also I would base what I thought was the best route based off of women's reaction to certain things. And I'm like, oh, I can't be this because they react like this. No. That's not the way to think. The best way to think to better yourself and really enjoy it is not to see yourself and who you are and sacrifice yourself in order to get what you want. No, the best way to do it is to accept yourself. And once you accept yourself, which I did, then I'm like, how can I work with myself to then get to my end goal if I really want to, right? But the main fuel for it now is surrounding myself in the better life for me, right? It's not about the end goal of getting it. Now I've directed it more to how can I improve myself, you know what I'm saying? In the way I talk, in the way I act, in the values that I have. How can I improve that to have a better life? And that better life rubs off on having advantages in getting women, right? You know what I'm saying? That's why when niggas or people better themselves, they start to get more women around them. You know what I'm saying? Because it could be multiple different ways, so I'm not actually going to get into that. But I'm going to leave it off actually right there. You know what I'm saying? I hope you have a good day. If you made it this far in the video, appreciate you more than you think. I'm going to be making way better videos, but let's get into it. Let's end it. Keep it real. Remember, don't just stay optimistic. Have a great day. Peace.